Welcome back to the Propaganda Wars. I am your host, David Taylor. I got a banger for you today. But before we do, like, share, and subscribe for more of the Propaganda Wars. Let's get into it.
Agarré, patrona.
Oh.
Agarré duro.
Oh, sí, está pesado. Está pesado. Yo no sabía que estaba
What,
tan...
is it?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Put it on.
A ver, claro, patrón, ¿cómo es que sí?
Several months later.
Former Doña Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano and his wife, Nancy Cano, have been taken into custody. This comes after they were found to harbor an illegal alien who is likely a Venezuelan gang member. Cristhian Ortega-Lopez has alleged ties to the Tren de Aragua gang. Federal agents raided the couple's Las Cruces home. The judge and his wife are accused of evidence tampering. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, Secretary Kristi Noem said, "Under President Trump, we have arrested over 150,000 aliens, including more than 600 members of the vicious Tren de Aragua gang. If you are here illegally and break the law, we will hunt you down, arrest you, and lock you up." That's a promise. Ortega-Lopez was apprehended at the Cano residence in February. He was initially hired by Nancy Cano for home repairs and later offered accommodation in the couple's guest house. Court documents reveal. Investigators uncovered evidence linking Ortega-Lopez to the Tren de Aragua gang, including gang-related clothing, tattoos, voicemails, and text messages. He unlawfully entered the U.S. on December 15, 2023, by crossing the border near Eagle Pass, Texas, without inspection or authorization. Ortega-Lopez was released on December 18, 2023, pending removal proceedings due to overcrowding at the Border Patrol facility. He was issued a notice to appear, initiating formal removal proceedings under the Immigration and Nationality Act. 4 firearms were seized from the residence of April Cano after further investigation. He is currently facing federal charges for being an illegal alien in possession of a firearm and faces up to 15 years in prison. Former ICE Field Office Director John Fabricatori said Doña Ana County has been a hotbed of illegal immigration and drug trafficking, human smuggling for many, many years. To see that a judge would allow this to happen, it's very concerning. It's concerning. What else has the judge been doing? Judge Cano resigned from his judicial position in March. The New Mexico Supreme Court issued a ruling permanently barring him from holding any judicial office in the state on April 22nd.
Yo, all right. This has been an explosive week. This week has absolutely, truly been insane. And unless you've been living under a rock, you would have noticed, because everybody's talking about it, two judges were arrested in the fight for immigration. The first one, let's talk about it. This is now former Doña Ana County Judge Jose Cano. This is a Las Cruces Sun report. Former Doña Ana County Judge Jose Cano and wife arrested. Feds allege link to Venezuelan gang. Whew. This is insane. Former Doña Ana County migrant Judge Jose Joel Cano and his wife, Nancy Cano, were arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on April 24th, only a few days ago. Cano, 67, was charged with tampering with evidence, and Nancy Cano, 68, was charged with conspiracy to tamper with evidence, according to court documents. Jose Cano resigned his judgeship on March 3rd after the arrest of suspect Venezuelan gang member Cristhian Ortega-Lopez at Cano's home in Las Cruces, February 28th. Ortega-Lopez had been living at a detached casita adjacent to Cano's home, and that is a small house. That just means a small house attached to his home. I didn't know what that was when I initially looked it up. 3 cell phones alleged belonged to Ortega-Lopez were seized from the premises by federal law enforcement officials. A search of the cell phones by law enforcement allegedly revealed messages proving his affiliation with the Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan criminal organization. The cell phones also allegedly contain photos that show Ortega in possession of firearms and ammunition. Investigators also alleged in a criminal complaint that Nancy Cano possessed a cell phone belonging to Ortega-Lopez. She allegedly called a woman on WhatsApp on March 7th and arranged a FaceTime between the woman and Ortega-Lopez. The relationship between the woman and Ortega-Lopez was unclear in the court documents. The same documents alleged that on April 20th, she told Ortega-Lopez she would delete 2 Facebook profiles belonging to him, constituting destruction of evidence to law enforcement. That is exactly what it is. In an interview with law enforcement after his arrest, Joel Cano allegedly admitted to destroying a cell phone that belonged to Ortega-Lopez, smashing it with a hammer, discarding the remaining pieces in a dumpster. He also allegedly said that he believed the cell phone contained videos and photos that would reflect negatively on Ortega-Lopez. This is a judge. Cano denies knowledge of Ortega-Lopez's Venezuelan crime affiliation, although I don't know what he was thinking about when he was in that video we showed at the beginning with that. Actually, that looked like an M4 military issue, but it could have been an M15 or AR-15. It was too graining to see. The Supreme Court ruled April 22nd that Cano was no longer eligible to hold a seat to be a judicial candidate in the state of New Mexico. In a letter to the New Mexico Supreme Court dated March 21st, Cano wrote he was not involved in any legal matters regarding the Venezuelan boys. And it's in quotations. This is truly sensationalism at its highest possible level, Cano wrote. In the 23-page letter, Cano chastises the Trump administration and its stance on immigration and repeatedly denied wrongdoing or unethical behavior. Cano wrote that his wife, Nancy, that's her top left, Nancy financially supported Ortega-Lopez and 3 other unnamed men living in the home who were allegedly in the U.S. illegally and also affiliated with the crime organization centered in Venezuela. Among the charges against Ortega-Lopez is illegal possession of firearms, as photos of him at a local firing range were posted to social media. Excuse me. At least 4 firearms were seized by federal agents during a search of a residence not belonging to Canos. I did not take a single firearm to the range. I took no ammunition to the range either. Nancy and I went only as spectators. I did not own one single firearm that may have been there at the range, Cano wrote in the letter. It's funny, since you're actually the only one who would be probably legal enough to own a weapon, because illegal aliens, by law, can't own firearms. That's my commentary, by the way. That's not in the report. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a news release that no one is above the law, and called the allegations against Cano very serious. I love Pam Bondi. The Sun News attempted to reach out to attorney for both Nancy and Joel Cano for comment, but have not received a reply as far as this article is concerned, as the date of this article, which is today. The key points in this article. All right, so let's take a look at the key points in this article. Joel Cano allegedly admitted to destroying one of Ortega-Lopez's cell phones with a hammer. Former New Mexico judge Joel Cano and his wife, Nancy Cano, were arrested on April 24th by ICE. The arrests are linked to the February arrest of suspected Venezuelan gang members Cristhian Ortega-Lopez at the Cano's residence. Nancy Cano is accused of conspiring to tamper with evidence by facilitating communication between Ortega-Lopez and another individual and attempting to delete Ortega-Lopez's Facebook profiles. You know, at first I thought Facebook was going to be the destruction of the United States. Now I think it may be the savior of its republic. Cano maintains his innocence, claiming he was unaware of Ortega-Lopez's alleged gang affiliation. Because every illegal alien, as you know, always walks around with a military-style AR-15. That doesn't make sense at all. So this judge is basically living the gangster lifestyle while being a judge, while getting paid by tax money. That is absolutely insane. So when we think about why, oh, and by the way, just to do some adding on to this, I looked into this a little bit further, and it turns out that Joel Cano has links to that area's Democratic Party's operations. You see, he was actually sponsored by a lot of the Democrat associations in that area. So his actual election was financed, allegedly, a roundabout way, through the DNC. He's definitely no Republican. One down, one more to go.
Authorities reportedly arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit judge this morning for allegedly assisting an undocumented migrant. In a since-deleted tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel, he said this judge was arrested on charges of obstruction related to an immigration arrest. NBC News law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter following these details for us. So, Tom, this is obviously late breaking. I know you were just running in here after checking court paperwork. What do we know about this arrest and this judge?
That's right. So Judge Hannah Dugan is the person who's been arrested here, facing 2 counts. The court paperwork was just unsealed: obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States and concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. And what they allege here in the course of the complaint that's been filed by the FBI agent who is running this investigation is that essentially this judge used the jury door. So that's the door that the jury comes in and out of the courtroom. It allows the jury to come in and out of the courtroom and be able to move through non-public areas. So that protects them. But it's also a way for other court staff to move through. And apparently she was involved in this case, at least according to the information that the federal prosecutors and the FBI has alleged here in the course of their investigation. She moved this individual who's wanted by ICE, for which there was an active and a arrest warrant for, to be removed from the United States, moved him through the jury door, allowing him to effectively evade ICE agents. This individual was facing criminal charges, 3 misdemeanor counts related to physical assault. And so that's why they were in the courthouse in the first place. Obviously, this has caught a lot of attention here this morning, but this is a case that's still moving forward.
A couple more questions here, Tom, because I know obviously you're literally reading these unsealed documents for us, but do we know if there's any relationship between the judge and the suspect? What would have motivated her to do this? How unusual it is for her? And how would the arresting agents know that she used this door? Were there ICE agents there waiting, and then they realized, okay, this guy was somehow transported, we couldn't get to him? You know, I'm just wondering what triggered the actual arrest.
Awesome question. So with respect to the individual, Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, there's no indication that we have from any of our reporting that the judge knew this individual. I do want to be specific on the charges. It's 3 misdemeanor counts. He's 31 years old, domestic abuse and infliction of physical pain or injury. This incident allegedly occurred on March 12th of this year. With respect to the question you just asked, which is how would the investigating agents that led to this arrest today know what happened? Well, they say, according to the court documents that have been filed, that multiple witnesses they spoke to described what the judge did, described even some of the conversations that the judge was having, even conversations the judge was having with counsel and the judge was having with court security staff.
People tipped
Those are
them
the
off.
allegations. It appears that on that date, they certainly became aware that this individual was able to get out of the courtroom and to avoid the arrest. Subsequently, they developed information as far as how that actually happened.
Do we know if the judge is being held in jail, or is this an arrest and a release until the arraignment?
So that's information we're still waiting to get to from the courts in Milwaukee. I would suspect, though, given the specific charges, what we've typically seen in the past is the judge would be allowed out either on their own recognizance or with a limited bail.
Oh, and the second one goes down for the week. So this activist judge, let's look at these 2 judges and then let's get on to this report. The first one kind of seems like an auxiliary member of Tren de Aragua, or Donde Está Agua, or however you want to call the gang. So the first one seems like an actual member of Tren de Aragua, the judge, and the second one seems a little different. The second one seems like an activist. But what do both of these activists? What does this activist and what does the other judge have in common? Well, they like to help criminals. So let's talk about who this activist judge helped escape. Oh, and by the way, there are unconfirmed reports that Hannah Dugan also on the outside of her court chambers had a big giant sign that says, if you are uncomfortable coming to court for any reason, contact me and we can proceed by Zoom. Basically trying to get away, skirt the law, try to get these people out of the hands of ICE. So she actually has a pattern of attempting to try to get criminals out of the hands of deportation agents. So let's talk about this illegal alien that she helped hide. MSN reports Mexican migrant Wisconsin judge accused of helping evade ICE faces domestic abuse charges and had been deported. A Mexican illegal alien, who a Wisconsin judge was arrested for allegedly helping evade arrest by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents on Friday, faces domestic abuse charges, according to court records. Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, 30, that's him, right there with that lovely tattoo under his eye, was arrested by ICE after his pretrial hearing before Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan last Friday. Flores-Ruiz faces 3 counts of domestic abuse, infliction of physical pain or injury, all of which are Class A misdemeanors. So he smacked somebody. He hit somebody. So he is violent. He made his initial appearance in court on March 18th after the alleged incident, which occurred on March 12th. This criminal illegal alien has a laundry list of violent criminal charges, including strangulation and suffocation, battery, and domestic abuse. Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at the Department of Homeland Security, said in a statement, since President Trump was inaugurated, activist judges have tried to obstruct President Trump and the American people's mandate to make America safe and secure our homeland. But the judge's actions to shield an accused violent criminal illegal alien from justice is shocking and shameful. Flores-Ruiz was previously deported in 2013, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He is currently being held at Dodge Detention Facility in Juneau, Wisconsin, according to the local outlet. The FBI arrested Dugan on Friday for allegedly hiding Flores-Ruiz in her jury room to prevent his arrest. Dugan arrested and charged with obstruction of an official proceeding after evidence came to light that she had shielded Flores-Ruiz from ICE agents, according to a criminal complaint. She was also charged with concealing an individual to prevent discovery and arrest. A.G. Bondi, outraged at Wisconsin judge arrested for obstruction of justice. Dugan demanded that the officials proceed to the chief judge's office and, after the hearing ended, escorted Flores-Ruiz and his attorney out of restricted jury door, bypassing the public area where agents were waiting to arrest him per complaint. So basically, it was the switcheroo, right? So Hannah, she basically said, hey, come and talk to me over here after this. And then she escorted him that way so that ICE agents wouldn't intercept him. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Ruiz Flores, alleged victims, were in the courtroom and state prosecutors when Dugan helped him escape immigration arrest. So basically, she did the whole thing right in front of his victims, the whoever he had smacked around or choked or whatever he did. So basically, he's like, hey, no, we'll let you out. It's cool. You don't mind. I know he smacked you around, but we're going to let him out. Man, you could not make this up if you tried. Like, this is some next level insanity. Dugan appeared in federal court in Milwaukee on Friday and made no public comments during the briefing hearing, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Her attorney, Craig Mastatono, I can't pronounce that, oh no, told the court, Miss Dugan, because you're losing your job, woman. Judge Dugan wholeheartedly regrets and protests her arrest. It was not made in the interest of public safety. Her next court appearance is May 15th. Flores-Ruiz's next court appearance is May 14th. And as a matter of fact, I've come across some reports online, some unconfirmed reports that there are actually judges that are stating that they're not gonna do their job until the release of Dugan. And you know what? I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Hey, if the other judges don't want to do their job, it'll just make it that much easier to get rid of them. So let's look at the cases of the two judges. The two judges. I'd say Hannah Dugan is an activist judge. I'd say that in her warped mind, she is thinking that she is assisting some kind of, assisting some kind of underground process and getting these people to safety, right? Whereas you have the other judge, Joel Cano, who, in my opinion, isn't an active judge. He is actually pretty freaking close to being a member of Tren de Aragua. He kind of you know what he reminds me of? You ever watch those like I was just watching the Closer, right? And there's this one episode about these gang members and you know, like they all are, but the head honcho came in to get one of his gang members out of jail. And he was a guy who was just so far removed. He was like this highfalutin businessman, and he had businesses, and he was completely legit. But he also had this entire underground operation of illegal activity that was going on. And that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of somebody who has a fake real job and is an undercover gang member. That's what he's like. And then the other one is an activist judge. And what do they have in common? They both care more about criminals. Not just the illegal aliens shouldn't be here criminals, but the really violent, dangerous criminals. He's shielding guys who have AR-15s from a drug gang. She's hiding guys who beat people, probably women and children. I'm not exaggerating. This is all alleged. But give me a friggin' break. And guess what? Hannah Dugan also has links to the Democratic National Committee. When going through her finances, when you kind of dig deep, you can tell that she was actually, during her election, she was promoted to be the candidate of choice of one of the Democrat not agency, like clubs. They're kind of like clubs, right? But the official clubs in that the Democrat clubs in that area. So they're both linked to Democrats. They're both complicit in hiding violent criminals. We need to throw the book at these two. Well, you know what? We need to deport these two. Yeah. These two are prime examples of people who should be headed to that new El Salvadorian prison for 20 years, helping terrorists. Because Tren de Aragua, however you pronounce it, whatever, they are a terrorist organization as stated by our president, Donald J. Trump. So these two aided and abetted terrorist activity. Allegedly. So, this is just the beginning. Make no doubt about it. We're coming for every single activist judge. Every single semi-gang member judge. We're going for all of the deep state judges. Every single time one of these judges stands up and tries to prevent President Donald Trump from fulfilling his American mandate, his elected mandate, the mandate that we elected him for, they will show their hand. And then we got him. Everybody's, it's funny online when you talk to the left or the right, everybody thinks that these judges, even the federal judges who are halting or trying to halt President Trump's executive order, are actually doing something. Well, they are actually doing something, but they're not doing what you think they're doing. They're showing their hand. We see you guys, and we're coming for you. All of you. So, thank you very much for joining me. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more propaganda wars. Peace.